Welcome to Spirit Fire's Full Moon Meditation. It is a joy to meditate with you, and thank you for adding your meditative light and goodness to world well-being. And that is the focus, of course, every time that we meditate for the full moon. And maybe it is the focus every time we meditate in our own personal practice as well. That we understand that everything is a shared consciousness. And that shared consciousness is one. Thus, as each of us acts from that oneness, speaks from it, thinks from it, and makes that part of our day, then that is exactly what is happening. Oneness is pouring into the collective consciousness of humanity. And there is no better sign to understand that through than Aquarius. Aquarius represents this shared oneness. Its glyph looks like water waves, but in fact they are waves of energy, waves of consciousness, shared, interdependent, and thus creating a full interconnectedness of life. One can ask if the New Age is upon us yet, and if it has begun. And certainly there are various ways by which that can be determined as we do our little preamble before we engage our meditation. But although there are many ways to look at that as to what is the actual date, if one can be rendered for the beginning of the Aquarian Age, we can look out to the world and see if we see the signs of it having begun. And so let's look at that. And as we look at that, we can look at it within ourselves as well as on a global, a national scale. What is interesting about the sign of Aquarius is that true to the glyph, again, it looks like waves of water. There is an instability that happens, thus leading to a destabilization of whatever is the current norm, whatever is the current status quo. If we look at waves, waves constantly erode rocks and beach sand and anything else that's in it by the natural movement of those waves. So although the wave itself is constant, as is Aquarius with its fixed sign quality, the waves are destabilizing. And so that's what happens within Aquarius as well, especially as we look on the grand scale of an age that will last 2,250 years approximately. We're in the very beginning stages. We could even say that we are in the seeding, that first little sprout or that very first root taking hold into the earth is where we are right now. Yet the seeds that we see in the world are the seeds of destabilization that will lead to a deconstruction of that which no longer serves. Serves who? Well, serves you and me as individuals, serves family, nations, communities, serves the world as a whole. It's not only what does or does not serve humanity or men or women or children, but Aquarius always wants to take the biggest view possible. It is a futuristic sign. It is a altruistic sign. And so it looks at what is possible and how to accomplish that. The first step in accomplishing something new is to undo that which already exists. That is represented by the lightning bolt of Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius. But then after that deconstruction, destabilization, after that kind of undoing of the patterns of existence, then a reconstruction can happen. And within a reconstruction, we will always find a transmutation of ideals, ideologies, of the isms by which humanity has been living. We are experiencing that around the world right now. And we've been experiencing that in the world for the last several years. If we look, for instance, at Arab Spring that happened last year, if we look at Tiananmen Square in China, is that now 10 years ago? So these kinds of things have been happening for quite some time. The equality that is still trying to really be true in South Africa, but to give the black people and the people other than the whites, the vote was in, I believe, 1994. So again, these slow, small, but yet so important movements in the collective consciousness have been happening. Now they're speeding up, and more things are happening along that line in multiple places around the world, multiple communities. Look at over 3 million people showing up on the day after the inauguration of the US president to sing out for the right relations and the humanity as a whole, and that we all matter, and that the future of humanity matters, as well as the future of our globe. And so one could say that in Aquarius, humanity as a whole has the opportunity to rise like a phoenix up from that which has served in the past but now is a limitation, and birth itself brand new from what, again, is limiting into that which is free. And so we have many ways by which we depict this to ourselves. Some of these images you might hold in your mind's eye and then bring them into your meditation of the earth itself with the radiance at its center and all levels of beings, included in the oneness, of the many forms of life, and that, again, we all share this one planet, and there is no other planet that we belong on. And furthermore, that the health of you and I is determined by the health of the animals and the plants and the water and the air of our world. Equally so, the health of the plants, the animals, the air, and the water depends on us. So again, this interdependence is something that also is tried and true and understood very well by the air sign of Aquarius. One last thing to say about Aquarius is that Aquarius and the Aquarian Age will have a signature, and one of the signatures is energy itself. That also corresponds to the lesser Dwapara Yuga that we are engaging. So Aquarius itself, again, ruled by the planet Uranus, lightning having be symbolic of energy in every form, of the lightning speed of the intuition and insight and creative endeavor, then energy is going to be part of the Aquarian Age. And we see that. We see the necessity of it due to global climate change, that we have to change how we live and how we gain our energy on a planet as human beings, but also that we have already on our planet that which has been here for a very long time and is largely misunderstood by academia and archaeologists. And that is, for instance, the pyramids. There are pyramids on every continent. There are pyramids in almost every country. So to reestablish their utilization as the grid of energy that they provided in the very ancient past, well, how wonderful would that be? And equally so, we have the signatures of the crop circles, which are made by pure energy, and yet are also reporting to humanity the energy which lies behind them, So there's always a message in every single crop circle. And then finally, on the right-hand side, you see two mechanisms that use the ocean and the waves of the ocean by which to generate passive and yet abundant energy. The top right-hand side uses the movement of the waves themselves, and the bottom right, these are solar disks floating in the ocean. So again, we see the ingenuity of humanity coming forward. Such that as we complete the little preamble before we engage our meditation for the world and world well-being, many people are wondering right now, in the changings going on around the world and in several countries, including the US, what is the awakening of humanity? What is happening? And we can all have our truths that we hold as sacrosanct, and we can all have the things that we are protesting for or protesting against, etc. But if underneath all that is the heartful quality of human awakening, then the mechanisms that bring that about are mysterious to us. Hence, if we hold on to a certain personal truth, a certain ideology, we might miss the bigger picture, that there is awakening happening. There is a collectivization of higher principles that is happening around the world, and an insistence is rising within humanity that is so true to the coming and inaugurating of the Aquarian Age that it astounds us. It astounds us, and so we hearken back to the old truths, the old things that used to be. But instead, humanity is awakening to the universals, again, ruled by Aquarius. So let us meditate. We smile and sit well, feeling the integrity of our body. Smiling, we feel the integrity of our breath. And still smiling, we feel the integrity of everyone gathered here and gathered all around the world, meditating, praying, and contemplating, using the full moon cycle to do so. We smile in our unanimity. We smile with our oneness and feel the heart quality of that. In that heart quality and its clarity, in that we settle, breathing in and breathing out. As we feel our breath, we feel life itself breathing. Everything on our planet breathes. So let us stay with that for a moment. Our breath as it comes and goes. Feel the sensations of it. And within those sensations, feel the life pulse of Mother Earth and all fellow beings, plant, animal, seen and unseen. And as we breathe, let us realize that Aquarius as an air sign represents this life breath, a life breath that is literally shared by everything on earth. There is no new oxygen. It is the same oxygen that the dinosaurs breathed. And let us feel as well the blood coursing through our veins. Aquarius rules circulation. But it isn't just the circulatory system of our body that it rules. It rules all connectedness. There is no part of our body that is not pumped full of life's blood, life's essence. And equally so, all energy, all consciousness, all altruistic intentions pour through and pump through humanity and the world, and are epitomized in the sign of Aquarius. So feel it within yourself, and then expand yourself such that you might feel it and realize it for the rest of the world. And then let us feel our hearts beating as one. Let us ignite the light of the soul. And then as each person ignites the soul light, it of course generates a great light that combines into one great light. And then let us feel that the light of the heart and light of awakened awareness are the same. One wholeness. And for the next several minutes, let us hold ourselves in this light and meditate with it such that it expands and dissolves our sense of individuality, and only the sense of oneness remains, a great light, a great wholeness. We meditate. And now let us feel this great light of awakeness, this light of the heart, light of pure being. Let us feel the truth of it, and that we can call it forward and generate it, meditate with it, because it is truth. This is the universal truth. And in this light, there is only more light. Lightness of being, lightness of intuition, lightness of health, lightness of goodness and kindness. And so let us generate it such that it pervades the world, all the kingdoms, pervades the consciousness of humanity, and even right now, in this moment, creates the future, a future of oneness, of light, of heart, of human altruism, human goodness. Let us realize that humanity is awakening because it can awaken, and that you and I are necessary in that process, that the awakening of each and every human being is necessary. So in whatever way that transpires, in whatever way that You make that happen on a daily basis. Let us feel the truth of it, the light of it, the power in it. And in that power, let us feel the potential of humanity as a whole and its potential awakeness. Aquarius and the dawning age of Aquarius will have to go through its phases, its stages of unfoldment and maturing into the potential that we and the world has before it. And so we will definitely go from me to we. But that's not the end game. We will go from me to us, which is even wider. But eventually, and possibly seeded by you yourself, and to your family, to your friends, to your colleagues, is me to one, a oneness, one world, not just one humanity, but one world, where every life form is valued, respected, and held in highest esteem. Thus, the potential of every life form for all other life forms that share this world with that one will be devised, understood, and shared. Oneness is the epitome of Aquarius through the processes of me to we, me to us, finally to oneness. We hold this and broadcast it from our hearts, from the illuminations of our awakened mind, from the soul nature and the highest spiritual nature that we are. And with that oneness as the awakened truth of our potential and the potential of life on earth, with that, we complete, letting it emanate out from us energetically and seeding ourselves with its potential, so that beginning right away, we all live from this potential of interconnectedness, interdependence, wholeness. And we complete with 3 ohms. We could say, may it be so, but instead, we can feel it in our heart. We can come from that light of awareness and intuition and truth of being any moment, every moment of every day. We can move increasingly from me to we, to us, to one. And it is only in each of us living as such that in fact the Age of Aquarius will happen. And with that we smile. And we thank you for meditating with this full moon. Love you all. Create a beautiful day for the world.